Hi, I am Basavaraj Tonegatti from bosunivesh.com, and in this video let us discuss about emergency fund and how much we have to create, where to keep, and what are the things you have to consider while creating your emergency fund. Let us define first what is emergency fund. Emergency fund is a fund which you set aside to cover your surprises. Surprises in our life knock to us in any form. For example, job loss, medical emergency, unexpected home repairs, unplanned travels, unexpected repairs of your washing machine, fridge or car. Hence, it is always better to create our emergency fund to fund towards such an unexpected expenses. How much should be your emergency fund? Ideally it should be 6 months to 24 months of your expenses, and I suggest you to consider these expenses in your emergency fund. For example, it should be your EMIs, it may be your home loan EMI and car EMI, personal loan EMI, any EMI you should also be considered in this emergency fund. At the same time, it should also be considered as household expenses, medical expenses, and your insurance premium. When I say medical expenses, many people think that we have a health insurance, why we have to consider this part in an emergency fund. But I will tell you one thing. When I say health insurance will not cover all the expenses whatever you will bear when you get hospitalized. There may be certain expenses which may not be part of your health insurance, and at the same time your health insurance may not provide you cashless benefit in certain cases. So in that case, such an emergency fund is very much important. At the same time, when I say insurance premiums, it may be your life insurance, health insurance, and accidental insurance premiums also. Even though you are paying these insurance on yearly mode, it is always better to consider and divide them into monthly expenses and be part of your emergency fund. Few points while constructing the emergency fund. The first and foremost important thing you have to consider while creating emergency fund is it should be highly liquid. So when I say highly liquid, it should be accessible to you even in the midnight also. So you have to keep in such a way your emergency fund. Second point, never use your emergency fund for your wants. It should be purposely and specifically meant for your needs but not for wants. Hence you have to use it consciously. And third one, it is not a constant. See, whatever the emergency fund you created today, it must not be same throughout your life. It must increase as and when there is an increase in your expenses. Hence you have to review your emergency fund consistently. And it is a forever required fund. Many people feel that this emergency fund is for few months or few years only. Don't consider so. This emergency fund should be part of your life throughout your life also. Never expect returns from emergency fund. This is the biggest mistake many people will do. They think that I have to keep this emergency fund somewhere where I get the higher return. But do remember that the emergency fund keeping in a high return product may give you higher risk also. Hence don't do such a mistake. Keep it in a product or an asset class where you have a possibility of higher liquidity and safety. Don't worry too much about tax. Many people think that where I have to invest this emergency fund, where I have a tax efficient mode of investment. Don't consider these aspects also, because as I told you, when I am keeping emergency fund, the priority is liquidity and safety. Never consider your credit card as an emergency fund. Many people think that I have a credit card, why I have to bother about emergency fund. But think about today's situation only. Suppose emergency knocks you tomorrow itself only, and you swapped your credit card to fund that emergency fund, and from next month onward if you are out of a job, then what will be the situation for you? Hence don't consider your credit card as an emergency fund. Next, where to keep the emergency fund? I will suggest you this way to keep your emergency fund. Around 10% of your emergency fund should be in a cash mode, because we don't know uh, how the emergency will knock us. For example, if there are any natural calamities like Chennai flood or anything, then even internet may not be accessible for you, or else going outside home may be not possible. In such a situation, this 10% of cash may be helpful for you. Keep around 20 percentage in your savings account, 30 percentage in online FD. I am stressing online FD. The reason is that you no need to go to the bank if you try to withdraw the money. Hence, if you keep it online FD, then you can access it online in the midnight also. Hence, keep it this 30 percentage of your emergency fund using online FDs. And that also, suppose your this 30 percentage FD is around around 5 lakh or 6 lakh, split it into 50,000 or 1 lakh FD, so that in case of emergency you can liquidate part of that one only rather than liquidating the whole FD. Other, if you keep it in a single FD, then if you try to withdraw it, then you have to liquidate a whole FD, and that may be uh, a negative point, because banks will charge you certain premature closer charges. Hence, it is always better to split your FD. Another 30 percentage should be kept in a overnight mutual funds or liquid funds. If you are comfortable with overnight mutual funds or liquid funds, keep it there. Otherwise, it is always better to use your FD only. Don't bother about, you have to keep it in overnight mutual fund only or liquid fund only, then only it is an emergency fund. I have just given you an options. It doesn't mean that you have to keep it your emergency fund here also. If you are comfortable with overnight fund, use it. If you're comfortable with liquid fund, use it. If you're not comfortable, stick to a bank FDs. Now let us, if you have any questions regarding this particular video, or else you want to ask me, or else you want to give me suggestion, then you are always welcome by commenting to this video, and I will reply to your comments. At the same time, if you are interested to conduct an unbiased financial planning awareness campaign, then you can contact me through my email. I'm maybe accessible to there, and we can interact, and we can schedule a plan, or else we can schedule an event in your organization or else in your society. So I am ending this video. If you have any comment or suggestion, I'm always welcome. Thank you.